Father's Day is here, and Dick's has the equipment to give Dad that perfect day. Check out amazing deals throughout the store, or let him choose his own gift with a Dick's gift card. Every season starts at Dick's.
Page, Gutierrez, Flashkey, Ryan, today. Points and points and points and points.
More points.
And if there's enough time after that, cup and cup and cup. And also, the Game of Thrones.
I'm going to guess he's going to be... Yep, out.
Let's do this. When one chooses the Game of Thrones, one thing is choose the day.
One day I'll
Welcome
get
to Around the Horn. Here's Tony Reali.
Welcome back around. A cup, a broom, an arm, but we start with points.
It's the first word.
Let's see here. 45 for Bob, 44 for Woody, Bill 20, Israel 15. A combined 124 years of covering basketball on this panel. Have you ever seen a game like last night?
No.
A first 16 minutes like last night.
Definitely no.
A shot chart like last night.
So many numbers. Kind of hard. No, never.
Yo!
What?
Bob Ryan, did you come away more impressed with the Spurs and their 59% shooting for the game and 41 points in the first quarter, or disappointed in the Heat for allowing 59% shooting and 41 points in the first quarter?
I'll try not to be too hyperbolic. The first 16 minutes was the greatest display of offense in the history of the NBA Finals.
Okay.
The Miami Heat were the O's. They were the hapless O to the X's of the Spurs, who not only did it with their old-fashioned way, boom, bing, bing layup, which would have been something that Pete Carrill and Dean Smith would have been proud of, but they did it with the new way, mixing in the great old-fashioned basketball with the weapon called the three-point shot. It was a perfect display of offense. Jeff Van Gundy said they should show it to every high school and college in America. I totally agree. This is how you play offense. It didn't matter if it was Miami or the 87 Celtics.
So, Bob,
or the,
you're a man.
Doesn't matter.
Your dislike is a word I could use for the three-point shot has been well documented. But
yeah,
even with that, you call this perfection.
Well, I mean, that's part of the deal now, the three-point shot. But if those shots only counted as two, they still would have been the result of beautiful ball movement. And the drive and kick, the European game that the NBA has now adopted, mixed in with the old virtues. If they count two or three, I don't care.
Bob Ryan, you are going soft on us. Something stunk last night, Bob Ryan, and it was the Miami Heat. I can't believe you let them off the hook. LeBron James, 7 turnovers, a career finals high. LeBron James scores only 8 points after the first period, okay? So he has a terrible game. Chris Bosh only gets 12 touches after 40 touches the night before. Don't get me started on Mario Chalmers. No player in 30 years has played at least 50 minutes in a final series and had scored 10 or less points, shooting 25% or less. He's like the worst point guard in the history of the NBA Finals. And plus this, the Heat had a chance to come back and win the game. They had single digits in the third quarter, and they didn't have the energy.
All this
Bob
time
Ryan,
in New York,
you missed it.
The New York cynic here on this show. Let's go to Israel Gutierrez in Miami now.
Bill, you could have put that team in an empty gym, the Spurs, and for 16 minutes for them to shoot 90% is still impressive.
But they were an empty gym. That's the point.
Here, look. Tony, if I would have told you before the game that Kawhi Leonard, that LeBron James was going to have 20 points, at least 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals, something that in the last 30 years only Iverson, Jordan, Pippen, and Rondo have done, and still got outplayed by Kawhi Leonard, you would have aggressively muted me. If Danny Green, if I would have told you Danny Green in the first half would have gone 5 for 5 in the paint, even though all season long he's only had one game where he's had 5 paint baskets, you would have probably kicked me off the show for at least a month, okay? So the fact that these guys not with their big three, the two guys to miss shots in that beginning stretch were Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, okay? All these other guys were doing this, playing beautiful basketball and you know, finishing everything that they took. I mean, look, that was beautiful. Even Greg Popovich said that might never happen again.
Woody Page.
Bill, don't be such a cynic. Bob is absolutely right. 90 years of basketball tells me and Bob that this, if you had been the Magic or the Bird teams, the Celtics and the Lakers, the Dr. J teams in Philadelphia, they couldn't have done anything about it. This was a runaway train last night. It didn't matter who they were playing. There was such perfection. Greg Popovich, in all his years, has never coached a team that was so near to perfection for a half of basketball. And if you didn't enjoy that, and the Heat had to just sit back and take it, there was nothing they could do about it. This was all about the Spurs.
Flash you back in.
There was something they could have done about it. They were 11-0 at home in the postseason. They're the two-time defending champions. Even their coach said they didn't have energy. Chris Bosh said they didn't show up. Their own players are ripping them more than you guys are ripping them. The Heat took some responsibility for this last night.
You know, the Heat have this streak going on. It could be their code, right? We win every game after we lose. Well, that's going to be put to the test now coming up in Game 4. That streak goes back to the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5. Can you bounce back in Game 4 in the series after you've been Super Smash Bro'd at home like they just were? Woody Page, you want to answer that?
Yes, they're going to have a short memory. The Heat is going to come back and have an exceptional game in the next one because they realize that they're on the precipice of being eliminated. I know it's not going to happen the next game.
The precipice of being eliminated.
Yeah, going back to San Antonio. So I expect a totally different game. We can't see the Spurs duplicate what they did last night. I think you'll see a better lockdown defense. I think you'll see Dwayne Wade much more involved. Ray Allen's got to step up and play a little bit better. So it's not going to continue. Each game in this series is going to have its own unique personality. If you think about it through the first three, each one of them has been totally different. It's going to happen again Game 4.
Israel, you're reading.
Yeah, I mean, so far these first three games, you've had the sweaty game, you've had the tight finish game, and you've had the, the beautiful offense game. So, yeah, this has been a great final so far, just in each individual game. I do think it was sort of a sneaky smart move by Greg Popovich to start Boris Diaw, and now I think that Eric Spoelstra has to counter somehow. He's been bringing in these last couple games James Jones as opposed to Shane Battier because apparently offense is more important and the spacing is more important. But really what they need to do is defend these Spurs better. And I think Shane Battier is probably going to be a more reliable option in the future in Game 4. I think maybe even Udonis has him a little bit because Chris Anderson just doesn't look right. He looks hurt. He's getting bullied around a little bit and not really doing that much rim protection. So I do think that Eric Spoelstra has some changes to make.
Those are some sizable changes. You're going with players who haven't played the first three games, really.
Well, Shane Battier played in Game 1, but yeah, I do think that you can go back to him. I mean, look what he did last time against the Spurs. He didn't really do much in the first 6 games. In Game 7, he blew up for 6 3-pointers.
Flashkey.
Yeah, I don't see how you guys can say the Spurs played so great and suddenly they aren't going to play so good in Game 4. I picked the Spurs to win Game 3. Spurs are going to win Game 4 as well. I think something's going on with Miami, whether it's they're suddenly getting tired. They have point guard issues. They have teamwork issues. They have energy issues. And it just surprises me they have these at home in the finals. I know they were down 2-1 last year and won it all. This is a different Spurs team. More depth.
I was about to say, they were down 2-1 last year.
More depth, more
Diaw,
more Danny Green, more Diaw. These guys have a much deeper team. We know more splitter. They didn't have it last year. I'm saying the Spurs win Game 4.
And Bob Ryan?
It's all about a 6-letter word. It's S-E-R-I-E-S, as both Woody and Israel have outlined. This is a series in which there are unique games, and tonight's game will be a victory, next night game, a victory for Miami to send us back to San Antonio 2-2 and set the stage for 3 terrific games, which will be a 7-game series. I'm pretty certain about this. The fact is that the Miami will come back as champions do. LeBron will come back better. There's a lot of versatility. There are options available to Eric Spoelstra on how he's going to deploy his troops.
What do you need to see Spoelstra do going into Game 4? Bob?
I think he will make better use of Bosh, who only had the aforementioned 12 touches and 4 shots. He'll get more. They'll use him. They'll find a way to get him. They'll actually, believe it or not, there will be a sighting inside the paint for Chris Bosh. You watch.
Izzy.
Yeah, Bill, you can't say that the Spurs are going to replicate what they just did. I mean, that was historically good, okay? And look at last year. Not only were they also down 2-1, Game 3 they lost by 30-plus points. It was a worse beatdown than this one was.
All those, I saw the Spurs people on the Heat, and Parker and Duncan were on the bench for some of that. They had Patty Mills and Splitter in there. A team this deep, it's going to be hard to beat.
Last word.
I think we're going to see the 2 Chris's, and I'm talking about Bosh and Anderson. Anderson has been Chris Anderson, not the Birdman. He has to be the Birdman, and Bosh has to be Batman. So if you have that, you're going to have a different.
All right, so Woody, you've got a 2-2 going back to San Antonio. Israel the same. Bob Ryan right there as well. But Flashkey's got San Antonio Game 4.
3-1.
All right, we've been orange. We're taking a break.
2 days.
Coming up, buy or sell. Easy, Drew. That's my neck you've got there. Careful, Jonathan. Those bristles are real. Gently, kings. I'm not a toy or weapon. I'm a broom. The czar of the kitchen corner. The sultan of cleaning supplies.
Oh no.
We're the panelists, Mike.
Stop him.
Write that tonight. Next.
Buy or sell.
Just in case anyone thought I was joking, here's Bill Plaschke during a Lakers sweep in 2001. The czar of the kitchen corner, the sultan of cleaning supplies. You wrote an article as a broom, Bill.
send it. I send it right to the Pulitzer Committee. They send it right back.
Last sweep in the NHL, 98, and it was actually 95, 96, 97, and 98. They had 4 in a row. The ratings were very solid, but that was the 90s. That was a different time. Here, 4.8 million viewers for Game 1, 6.4 for Game 2, 2.9 for Game 3. Tonight, the Cup is in the building. There could be a sweep. What would it mean for the NHL? A bad thing, Woody Page?
No, I think it's a good thing. Whenever you have a sweep, you have a dominant team that might be remembered in history. I remember the second Indiana Jones movie where the guy reached in and grabbed his heart and pulled it out. That's what happened in those first 2 games in this series. So we're going to see a sweep, and I think it's great for the NFL. Get it, or NHL, get it over with.
And the NHL, yes. Gutierrez.
Yeah, I don't think it would be necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if people want to tune in to watch the Cup celebration, they can start tuning in now. Maybe that even bumps up the ratings if they go, deeper into the series. But I don't understand why it would be a bad thing. I mean, the first 2 games in this series have been wildly entertaining. The series, all the series before this have been especially good. I don't know why a sweep would be terrible other than
the
happening more
NHL
games.
desperately needs it to go back to L.A. The Kings looks like they're going to win this thing. The Stanley Cup celebration is the most unique in sports. It's the sweetest, most special celebration in sports, and they have to do it in front of the home fans. It makes it so much better. It's must view TV. It really is. I've been to all of them.
It is. It's always must see TV.
No, and not like this.
Do you find that the ratings are lower when a road team wins the Stanley Cup?
Well, you know what? I think that the whole mystique of the Stanley Cup is less than a little bit because the fans can't celebrate with it.
Bob Ryan, what do you think?
Oh, it's a disaster. Tony, you gave the numbers on viewers. The longer a series goes, the better things are for TV. The better things are for TV, the better they are for every professional sport, particularly basketball and hockey. So absolutely not. It's not a good thing. And it's a very big disappointment, especially in New York, L.A. Can you imagine the ratings that would have been a Game 7 if there was such a thing?
Still possible. Still could get it.
Still
we saw
possible.
The Kings come back.
That's what they're rooting
That's
for.
What's intriguing about this. The Kings know the exact position that the Rangers are in because they were in the first. Does the series end tonight? The Cup? Do we see the Cup tonight, Bob Ryan?
No. We are going back to LA.
And Plashke, what are you doing?
I'm going back to L.A. either way, but yeah, the Kings are going with me.
While you've been in New York, the Kings all week, the Lakers graciously delaying hiring a coach.
They have. They told me that.
USA Today, yesterday, saying that delay is to see if potential free agents like LeBron or Carmelo might be wooed to L.A. by the ability to have some say in the coach. Buy or sell the approach there, Israel?
I'm going to sell it. What threw me on this one is that it was supposedly well known that LeBron wants to play with his good buddy Carmelo. I just don't see that as a great match. I mean, you're going to get the Olympics version of Carmelo maybe every once in a while, but not for an entire season.
I don't blame the Lakers. There's no impetus to do it any sooner. They're going to hire Byron Scott at the end of the day anyway. They just want to make sure there's nothing, any stone unturned. Remember, they hired Mike D'Antoni over a weekend. They're taking their time this time.
So you heard Byron Scott, though?
Yes, Byron Scott.
Bob Ryan?
Byron Scott will wait happily till the day before the season starts if that's when he's going to get his job. Yeah. They should wait. They have nothing to lose, nothing at all. They won 27 games, right? Oh, they're going to get Kobe.
And the idea they could woo free agents like LeBron?
You don't know, but there's no. They might as well wait. Okay. Take a shot.
40?
Take a shot.
Sure. Yeah, of course, wait. Let's say that LeBron wants to come out there and he wants them to hire his uncle as coach. I would do it in a minute. And I'd say, Byron, nice job, but move over. I think you wait. Well, what are they doing? They're just working out right now. There's nothing to lose.
Baseball now. 5 games for Manny Machado, which he'll appeal. I know some of you thought he deserved more. His GM, Dan Duquette, telling Sports Illustrated demotion is an option for the 21-year-old. After the weekend he had with multiple dust-ups and the fact he's hitting .222, nearly 100 points lower than this time last year, do you think a minor league assignment would be good for Machado, Bill?
Yes, it would be if you just took away everything else. Just this is a 22-year-old guy the guy was batting 21, he's batting .222, and he started 2 dust-ups in the last 2 days. Give him a chance to go to the minor league.
Bob Ryan?
Well, short of sending him to bed without his supper, I think it would be a good thing because this kid is too good a talent. I've seen it with my own eyes. Something's wrong. If that's what it takes to get his real attention, send him down.
Page?
No, he's gone through it. He's going to get better with that. Defensively, he's still playing world-class ball. Did you see that play he made last night at third base?
Yeah.
You don't get rid of a guy. He will get out of this slump, and he's gotten over being bigger than the game itself.
It depends on how you believe he's going to treat it. If you think he's going to handle it well, then you can go ahead and send him down. Otherwise, you can just give him 2 or 3 days off, 2 or 3 games off to sort of clear his mind and get his game together.
How just he treats it. It's how your team treats it. How your manager treats it, right? I mean, this is a learning experience here. Paige, Gutierrez, Ryan, that's Bill Plashke's learning experience right now.
Can't you keep me in here longer? There's a New York's outside this studio, and I'd rather just stay here for a little bit if I can.
Come on, Flash. You're wearing black. You look like you're a New Yorker right now. That's it. Paige, Gutierrez, Ryan, lightning round next. Coming up.
I believe that we will win.
Uh-oh, the man who believes that it's not realistic that we will win, saying it again. Can't spell realistic without Reali. Put! Oh, Woody Page in the lead, 17 points. Bob Ryan, Israel Gutierrez, 16. Anybody's ball game in the lightning round. Jurgen Klinsmann from Brazil today, reiterating that the U.S. winning the World Cup is not a realistic expectation. However, he also told reporters, we don't look at ourselves like underdogs. What do you think of Klinsmann here today, Woody?
Not much. I think as Americans, we can win. We can win anything we want to do. We beat Germany in soccer. We beat Italy in soccer. We beat Mexico in soccer since the last World Cup. Yeah. We can beat Ghana. We can go on. We can win.
So you believe that we will win. Very good.
Win.
How about you, Israel?
We can win.
Woody, what's worse? If you set the expectations so high that the U.S. team comes back, as defeated and looking like terrible, basically, or do they set the expectation a little bit lower and say, hey, if we make the quarterfinals, all of a sudden you come back as a sort of media darling?
Is it the manager's job to set expectations, Bob Ryan?
Do we expect the winner of the Big South or the Big West to win the NCAA tournament? No, we do not. You cannot expect America to win the World Cup. We will do very well to get out of this group. As a matter of fact, we are not only if not in the group of death, in the group of intensive care. And I would be stunned if we get out of this group.
From World Cup to trophy with no name. U.S. Open Pinehurst #2. Phil Mickelson, Benton favorites, along with McIlroy and Scott. Phil's never won this major, famously lost by a stroke to Payne Stewart here 15 years ago. Has no top 10s this season. Is claw putting now. But the FBI hasn't stopped him at a course in 2 weeks, so that's pretty good. Israel, you betting on Phil?
Listen, if it takes a clear mind to win a tournament like at one in Pinehurst, then, having the letters FBI by your name is probably not helping. Although it would be very much like Phil to go ahead and make this, the U.S. Open that he wins. So I'll put a couple bucks on Phil.
Brian?
I may go to the $2 window on Phil, for an apt analogy, but maybe not the $50 window. But the reason he said it makes a lot of sense. He said, if everybody's going to miss every green, which you can do with this, I have the best chance because of my game. And that makes perfect sense.
And what do you think of Mickelson leading up to the tournament?
Well, this guy's finished runner-up 6 times. I'd go to the place window and bet the place at least. But as the only guy here who's played with Phil, I know he's got the game. He's got the short game. He can get out of the sand traps. He can be on a quirky course. He can fit the challenge. I think he's going to win. Complete the Grand Slam.
What a name dropper you just were, Woody Page.
Play the name drop card.
But it's still enough to advance. Israel Gutierrez, 18 points.
Well, Jurgen Klinsmann told me I was going to be the first one out, so I feel like I succeeded.
Very long vacation coming your way, Israel. We're off for the World Cup, so enjoy the time away.
Happy World Cup.
In July. Page, Ryan, showdown next. 2 enter, 1 ends the month with a win. And straight ahead, Game of Thrones. In the history of history, was Cespedes last night the best use of an arm ever?
Not really.
And then there were 2. Paige, Ryan, last showdown for a long time. Let's make it a good one. The Rays shut out 3 straight consecutively in a row. 5 in their last 10. 10 in the season. They have the worst record in baseball, Woody. Anomaly or something more?
No, it's something more. This team has just fallen totally apart. Even though Madden's a great manager, they have been bad defensively. They've lost pitchers. I think it's more than that. When you're shut out 10 times, that's not an anomaly.
Oh, no, they are absolutely, you're right, Woody, offensively challenged to the max. And a guy they thought was really going to be the difference, Will Myers, I thought he'd be good for 30 and 100. He's hurt, and he wasn't doing anything anyway. This is who they are.
You both may be right, but Bob Ryan just told us that Woody's right. So if that's the case, point to Woody.
Yep.
Yoenis Cespedes. You ain't advancing this. The throw last night to get Kendrick at the plate. You have to put it on the short list all time of great throws. Of course, there are a ton of amazing throws in the history of baseball, and I understand there are people out there who think everything that is recent is best, and there are certainly people out there who think that everything is old is best. Bob, where do you rank Cespedes' throw, and what do you like most about the play?
This is the best throw from left field in the non-Bo Jackson category in the last 30 years. And what I like best about it, it was right here. It wasn't down there. It was right there. I mean, the throw,
Bob,
would have gone.
The best throw I've ever seen. I know you have Red Sox tickets, but I saw Dante Bichette in Boston throw a ball from right field that was the longest throw I've ever seen. It ended up in the 6th row.
He threw it over. Dante Bichette happens. That's what happens when he fades. FaceTime, 30 seconds. Enjoy it.
I know it's tough for all of you to believe, but we're going to not be on the air for 3 weeks. So how do you cope when there's no around the horn? I'm here to tell you how. Get 3 of your friends. Go in 4 separate rooms and argue sports and holler it into the other room. For $35, you can hire Tony. He's got nothing else to do. He'll come to your city and host a program. I think it's more important that you get a cowbell. You don't have a mute button, so a cowbell.
Okay.
And get your own chalkboard and put it up behind you in your parents' room. So you have it every day.
That
there are ways to get past
is a good
this
idea.
around.
We are off until July the 1st.
You could just watch the World Cup. $35.
You could watch the World Cup. You know what?
We're
We're celebrating this World Cup by having a World Cup bracket challenge. You can join us now on ESPN.com. It's called The Game of Thrones.
I don't get it.
Well, there's a lot of magic spray, and then, yes, there's that little sword there. In the meantime, we are off till July 1st, and that is a 479.5-hour break. So for the first time and only time ever, we'll see you in 479.5 hours.
Bye.
What do I do with myself?
Father's Day is coming, and Dick's has amazing deals for Dad. Get him out on the green with a new driver from Callaway, TaylorMade, Cobra, or Nike. Save $100 on select 2014 drivers. Update his wardrobe with 33% off select Nike golf polos and shorts. Give Dad a Nike Fuel Band to help him track his workouts. Or let him get exactly what he wants with a Dick's gift card. Use your scorecard to get 3% cash back and to be entered into our Father's Day million-point giveaway. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details. Every season starts at Dick's.